Tonight, at least 121 counties have been added to the state's disaster declaration, with Texans running out of time to prepare ahead of this storm. Acting Governor Dan Patrick joins us live from Austin tonight. We should tell our viewers you are acting governor because Governor Greg Abbott is out of the country in Asia on a trade mission. We are all watching this forecast very closely. What are your main concerns with this storm?
Well, first of all, Pat's report was really on target. But as Pat well knows, this storm can continue to move because the forecast now is Matagorda, but it has moved east for the last 4 days, slowly but surely. And the Hurricane Weather Center, they will acknowledge that very often their final track, a storm can move 20, 30, or 40 miles. We've seen that before in past storms in Houston and in Texas. So we're still focused on the track. We are prepared at the state level. We have all of our resources in place to wherever this storm finally has landfall and then its impact from flooding and the rain. Remember, folks, that very few people die from the wind in a hurricane. And this will be a hurricane, Cat 1 for sure, maybe to a Cat 2, depending on movement overnight. A lot can strengthen in the next 12, 15 hours. But if you're in the middle of that Cat 1, 80 mile an hour, 85, 90 mile an hour sustained winds and gusts higher than that, you're in a bad place. So we don't want you on the roads at all, really, after later tonight. If you're along the coast anywhere, get out of the water. The rip currents, even if the storm isn't hitting there, the rip currents are deadly. And for the Houston area folks, they just have to be aware of this storm and stay in place. We're very worried about people, as always, driving through flooded roadways. Just because there's not a sign there that says don't enter, maybe the sign blew away or the barrier blew down, or they couldn't get to put one there because of the storm. So as Pat said, this may be out by this time tomorrow, should be out of the way. But for the next from 3 in the morning till noon or so, it's going to be tough sledding in Houston. So I want everyone to beware. This is a deadly storm. 9 have already been killed in it. We don't want anyone to lose their life in Texas.
So, Governor, what is your message to people who live along the coast in places like Galveston?
Yeah, so, there are always the people that stay. I've been around Houston for a long, long time now, over 40 years, and there are always people who will stay. And one of the things that concern us here at in our state emergency center is, quite frankly, it was a holiday weekend, and not many people, they're out of their habit of watching the news every night or even looking at their internet. They've been having fun for 4 days. They've been at the beach. Those are the visitors. And now by the way, if you're on the coast and you're not leaving in the next hour to get home, then you're probably going to have to stay there. For those residents there, they will get through the storm like most get through the storm, but we are always concerned. Look, again, many people will not have a severe impact from this storm. Again, we don't know where exactly it's going to land yet, but the people who are right in harm's way of a Cat 1 storm, 6, 8, 10 inches of rain potentially, that's going to be a tough night and a tough day tomorrow. So if you're at home, then you're probably where you're going to be for the next 24 hours. And if you plan to get home, you need to get out of the hotel right now or whatever house you're rented and get home now before 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. Don't try it later tonight.
As you know, Houston was hit hard with power outages in May after a derecho storm. The threat of power outages looming again. What resources are standing by to deal with any widespread power outages here?
So I was on a call earlier with our power providers and in Houston, CenterPoint, their position, they're ready to go. And we will lose power. We will lose power somewhere. Winds are 80, 90, even 65, 75 mile an hour winds and gust. We're going to lose some power, but CenterPoint is ready to go, and the state is ready to back them up as well, because we always have the emergencies of people who depend on electricity in their home because they have some medical device. So, we are aware of those people to the best of our ability when they call in a certain number and register. So we focus on those folks to get them help from the state and the local level. I know Mayor Whitmire he and I have talked several times. We've worked together for 17 years. Let me tell you something. The state of Texas has the best emergency management team in the country, and the city of Houston is right there with us. So together, we really work well. The local officials, the statewide officials, law enforcement, TxDOT. Look, we're going to do everything we can. Our focus, number one, is to save lives. So we need the people to help us save their own life. So don't be on the roads late tonight. Don't try to gamble. And if you're already where you're going to be, then just stay there. And this storm, the good news is, unlike Harvey, of 17, when it battered us and came back and battered us again, we kept getting rain on top of rain, and that created tremendous flooding. This storm will move quickly, as Pat said, up through Texas, and that's good news, but there will still be a lot of flooding and very heavy localized flooding in some places. And for people watching up in College Station and that area, the rains are going to in College Station, then all the way up to Tyler, Texarkana. So just be on the lookout and keep your eye out, and don't turn your back on the storm.
Acting Governor Dan Patrick, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.